Hello students, today we will be dealing with the chapter of hereditary. Also we will know how genes play a role in our body and why every individual in this world is characteristically different from each other. So let's start. Before advancing in the chapter, we will be dealing with few basic terminologies so that it can give us a better clarity to understand this chapter. So we know that cell is a structural and functional unit of our body. Why do we call it as structural and functional unit? What is the meaning of unit? Unit means one. That is, we need to have at least one cell to make anything functional. Okay. So what happens is aggregates of cell makes a tissue. From that tissue, organs are formed. From that organ system is formed, and then an organism is created. So we need to have at least one cell to make anything functional. Okay. So before advancing in the chapter, we will be I will be giving you a little bit of clarity of a cell, basic thing of cell. Like cell contains a fluid matrix which we called as cytoplasm. It has a fluid matrix which we called as cytoplasm. Okay. In this cytoplasm, many kinds of organelles are suspended or embedded. Okay. There is an organelle known as nucleus. It is the main organelle in cell. We also call this as the largest organelle inside the cell. This is the main and the largest organelle inside the cell, nucleus. But why do we call it as nucleus the main organelle inside the cell? Because this nucleus has the capability to regulate the cell's function. Okay, it regulates and controls the whole cell process. Even the prominent you might be knowing about the prominent process of cell division. Okay, the cell division is also controlled by the nucleus itself. Actually, what happens in cell division, first the nucleus divides and then the cell divides. Also, this nucleus contains a genetic material. What is a genetic material? The thing which gets passed from parents to offspring. And this genetic material controls all the characters. Okay, like someone is tall, someone is dark skinned. These characters are controlled by the genetic material which is present inside the cell. So nucleus contains a genetic material. This genetic material is in the form of a thread. This genetic material is known as chromatin fiber. Okay. Why do we call it as a fiber? Because it is in the form of thread. So we call this as chromatin fiber. Okay. Now, when the cell is in the stage of division, okay, when the cells attempts to divide itself, this chromatin fiber changes into a structure, into a X-like shaped structure, which we called as chromosome. During cell division, okay, during cell division, it no longer stays like a thread. It changes its form into a X-shaped like structure in this way. Okay, into a X-shaped like structure this way. This is in the X form. Okay, so this structure is called as chromosome. This we called as chromosome. Like, see, if the cell is attempting to divide itself, in the process of division, you will be no longer able to see this thread-like structure inside the cell. This thread-like structure will be converted into X-like shaped structure like this. Okay, like this. And one more thing, inside our each cell, there is 23 set of chromosome. There is 23 set of chromosome. Okay, in every human cell there is a 23 set of chromosome, and these 23 set of chromosomes have their own homologous chromosome. Okay, like they have their own pair of chromosome. So this 23 and 23 equals to 46 chromosome. So in a human cell we have 46 chromosomes in total. Okay, let me make it in a more clear way. See, we have 23 set of chromosomes. These 23 chromosomes, these 23 set of chromosomes have their own homologous pair. Homo means what? Homo means similar. Hetero means dissimilar. Okay, so these chromosomes have their homologous pair. homologous means they have exactly their chromosomes are exactly the replica of these chromosomes. Okay, first set. So next, this nucleus has a chromatin genetic material known as chromatin fiber. During the process of cell division, it no longer stays as a thread like structure, but it gets converted into a X shaped like structure known as chromosome. Okay, now let's see in this diagram. This is a cell, this is nucleus. Inside the nucleus there is a genetic material known as chromatin fiber. This chromatin fiber, during the process of cell division, when the cell attempts to divide itself, it gets converted into a chromosome, into a X like shaped structure. See this kind. Okay, now we will know what is DNA and what are genes. Okay, see, chromosome, chromatin fiber during cell division changes into a X-shaped structure called as chromosome. What does this chromosome mean? Chromo or word chroma means color. Okay, word chromo or chroma means color. Zome word is derived from the word soma. Soma means body. Okay, so this can be defined as colored body. Why do we call it as a colored body? Because when the scientists have tried to discover it, it was only visible under the microscope when it was stained with something, some material. Okay, so it has the capability to take stain or to get dyed, and then it can show its visibility. Okay, so this chromosome is actually like this. See, it is this. These strands are only known as DNA. So DNA is nothing different from chromosome. DNA is just the strand of chromosome. See, what happens is DNA is like this. DNA is in the form of strand. DNA has two strands. One is this, and the another one is this. Let me change the color. It will give you a better clarity for this. Okay, let's consider this is the another strand. So both the strands are coiled. Okay, this is the DNA. DNA has a DNA is a double stranded structure. Strand, what we mean by strand? Strand is a thread like structure. Okay, strand, what we call as strand, thread like structure. So if we need to keep both the strands coiled, we need to have some kind of bonding between them. Okay, if we try to keep something coiled, okay, we need to have a bonding between them. So between these two strands, we have a hydrogen bonding. Okay, we have a hydrogen bonding. So if in the examination, if it is asked that what kind of bonding is between both the strands of DNA, it is hydrogen bonding. Okay, now let me explain a little bit more. Though another thing, there's a concept of nitrogenous base. Though CBSE curriculum has not added this nitrogenous bases, and they have not discussed about this, but we will discuss a little about this so that it can give you a better clarity to understand what is genes, what is the main structure of DNA, what is the functional part of DNA. Okay, so but the ICSE students, 10th ICSE students must refer this nitrogenous bases. Okay, because you have your this nitrogenous bases in your curriculum. So see, we have nitrogenous. We'll discuss about nitrogenous bases. What are nitrogenous bases? Nitrogenous base, this is a what happens is, see, before that let me explain what are nitrogenous bases. There are 4 kind of nitrogenous base. Okay, adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine. There are 4 kind of nitrogenous base: adenine, thymine, guanine and cytosine. Okay, if you don't remember the names even, but try to understand that there are 4 kind of nitrogenous bases, that is ATGC. I would suggest CBSE students, at least if you don't remember the name, you try to remember this, that the 4 nitrogenous bases are A, T, C, G. Okay. What happens is, first we will learn about this, and then I will be explaining how these play a role in coiling of DNA strands. Adenine bonds with thymine. Okay. Adenine bonds with thymine. Okay. And nothing else. It can never bond with cytosine or guanine. It can only bind with thymine. Next, cytosine. Cytosine can only bond with guanine. Okay. And like we have studied that both the strands are coiled by the hydrogen bonding. So adenine and thymine are joined to each other with 2 hydrogen bonds. Okay, adenine and thymine is joined with each other with 2 hydrogen bonds. Then guanine and cytosine is bonded with each other with 3 hydrogen bonds, and this is fixed. Okay, this can never vary. Adenine will join with thymine only with the help of 2 hydrogen bond. Cytosine will bond with guanine only with 3 hydrogen bonds. It can never vary that sometime it will bond thymine with 4 hydrogen bond or with 3 hydrogen bond. It can never be like that. Okay, it will only bond with thymine with 2 hydrogen bond. Another thing, cytosine will bond with guanine with 3 hydrogen bond, and this is fixed. So what happens is let me rub this part. See, DNA has 2 strands, 2 threads which are coiled to each other. Now see, from one strand, a nitrogenous base will emerge. Okay, from another strand, another nitrogenous base will emerge, and these nitrogenous bases will face oppositely each other. Like if we consider here to keep adenine, what will be correspond of this? Thymine. Okay, no other option can be taken, because adenine cannot get bond with cytosine or guanine either. Okay, it will only get bonded with thymine with 2 hydrogen bonds. Then let's consider another base is emerging. Like let's take cytosine. Okay, cytosine will bond with whom? With what? With guanine. Okay, and with how many hydrogen bond? 3 hydrogen bonds. Again, what will happen? Adenine will bond with thymine. Adenine will bond with thymine with 3 hydrogen bonds. Again, the process will continue. Okay. So what happens is, these 2 strands are bonded with hydrogen bonding, and this hydrogen bond is present between the bases, between the nitrogenous bases, and the name itself declares that it contains nitrogen compounds. Okay, nitrogenous base, the term itself declares that it contains nitrogen compounds. Another thing, so this has got a clarity. Okay, another thing, another most important, what are genes? This is to understand genes, we need to understand the structure of DNA first. So I had explained. Now DNA, see, nitrogenous base with 2 hydrogen bonding or 3 hydrogen bonding either, with nitrogenous base, then again nitrogenous base. Okay, like see, characters. What are characters? Like height is a character, then skin color is a character. Every individual in this world has different kind of characters. Like someone is tall, someone is short, someone is middle heighted, or someone is dark skinned, someone has fair skin, someone has brownish hair, someone has grayish hair. These all are characters. Okay, these characters are governed by a unit known as genes. This genes is a structural unit for hereditary. These genes actually controls these characters. Okay, and these characters are passed from parents to offspring. What happens is, see, this is a DNA. If this part of DNA, let's consider this sequence of DNA is coding for a character. Like this sequence of DNA is coding for the character height. Okay. Then this sequence is coding for the character skin color. So this segment of DNA is becoming functional. It is coding some character. So we can say that this functional segment is termed as gene. Genes is nothing else but the functional segment of DNA which controls any character. Okay. So if this sequence of DNA is controlling any kind of trait, we have considered height here, but it can control any kind of trait or character, then this segment, this functional segment is called as gene. Okay. This functional segment will be called as gene. Now let's consider. See, these are the two strands. Let's consider the bases here, and they are forming the hydrogen bond between them. See, like this sequence is controlling the character of height. The character of height. Okay. Now let's consider if this sequence is not controlling any kind of character. This sequence is not controlling any kind of character. So it is becoming non-functional. It is not coding any character. So this segment of DNA will be not called as gene. The part of DNA which is functional and coding for some kind of character is only called as gene. Okay. So what is gene? Genes is a part of DNA, and that part of DNA which is functional or coding for any character. See, like if this part is coding for a character, this will be called as gene. And this part of the, let's consider that if this part of the DNA is not coding for anything, then it will be not considered as genes. It is the non-functional part. So can we say that the segment of DNA which is functional or coding for any kind of character is called as gene? We can say like this also. Another thing. So I hope this has given you a nice clarity. What is genes? What is DNA? And what is a chromosome? Another thing. Heredity. See, what is heredity? Heredity is a process by which characters are flown from parents to offspring. Okay, from one generation to another generation. And this flowing of characters can only occur through sexual reproduction. What happens in sexual reproduction? I'm giving you a brief regarding this. What happens is in sexual reproduction, the ovum and the sperm fuses. And what is a sperm and the ovum? It is a cell. And every cell contains that genetic material. When this ovum and sperm gets fused, a zygote is formed. This zygote is getting the genetic material. This genetic material is passed down to this zygote now. And this zygote will possess his parental genetic material now. Okay. So characters are passed from parents to offspring. And this process is only known as hereditary. So let's read this statement. Hereditary is the process of passing the traits and characteristics from parents to offspring. Parents to offspring means from one generation to another generation through genes. And what are genes? These are the functional part of DNA. Next, the offspring get their features and characteristics, that is genetic information, from their mother and father. In sexual reproduction, both the parents are involved. So the zygote which is inheriting or getting the characters is just not getting from single parent but from both the parents. Okay. Next, variation. See, what is variation? Small differences between individuals. The small differences, like someone is tall, someone is short, someone is dark skin, someone is fair skin, someone is having a fair skin. So these things these small differences are controlled by genes, and this variation is created just because of sexual reproduction, because the mother has some another genetic backgrounds, okay, and the father is having a different genetic backgrounds. When they get mixed, okay, when they get mixed and is passed down to the zygote, to the next generation, the zygote will possess both the characters of mother even and the father as well, okay. And this variation is just because of sexual reproduction, because in asexual reproduction what happens is only one parent is involved, so the whole genetic material or the whole genetic constitution gets passed to the offspring, and no variation is seen. Variation just occurs because both kind of genetic backgrounds are getting mixed or blended. But in asexual reproduction what happens is only a single parent is involved, and that parent's genetic materials is only transferred to that offspring, so no variation can be found. Even there is a concept of twins. Twins are even not fully like, okay, because even they possess some differences. Do you have heard about the fingerprints? The fingerprints of the twins can never resemble, okay, Next thing, variation is what? Small differences between individual, even in twins. Okay, next. Next, genes. Genes is a short sequence of DNA encoding for a certain trait. What is trait? Trait is nothing, just characters. Like height is a character, then skin color is a trait, then like the way we talk, the way we speak, the way we the intellect we have. Okay, these all characters are controlled by genes, and these this height, this skin color, this hair color is all what? A character. Okay, these are characters, and these characters are only known as trait. Okay, so gene is a short sequence of DNA that is a like let's revise again. Like this is a DNA, like this sequence of DNA is coding for something, like consider it is coding for the skin color. Okay, skin color, so it is coding for something. It is not it is of course a functional part of DNA. So when it is getting functional, it is a functional part. When it is coding for something, of course it is getting functionally active. So this functionally active, or this small short sequence of DNA which is coding for some character or trait, this part is only known as gene. Like again, this part, let's consider this part is not coding for anything, for any character. So can we call it as a gene? No, never, because it has become non-function. It is not controlling anything, any character. So this cannot be called as gene. It is not a gene. It is not a gene. Only that part of DNA which is coding for something, which is coding for any kind of character, that part of DNA can only be called as gene. Okay, next. Now, concept of homologous chromosome. Like in the first slide, I told you that every human being has a set of 23 chromosome. Okay, has a set of 23 set of chromosome. Like in each cell of our body, it contains 23 set of chromosomes. Okay, 23 set of chromosome. So this 23 set of chromosome, what it does, it has a homologous pair. What do we mean by homo? Homo means similar, hetero means dissimilar. Homologous pair means this 23 chromosome has a similar pair, and this pair is called as homologous pair. Okay, so when this 23 and 23 can count as, we can count it as 46 chromosome in total. Before that, one thing I must explain here, diploid. Diploid. What do we mean by diploid? We human beings are diploid organisms. Okay. So what do we mean by diploid? Di means two. Di means two. Ploidy means number of chromosomes. Ploidy means number of chromosomes. Okay. See. So what do we mean is, we don't have a single set. That is, we don't have only 23 set of chromosome. Okay. This 23 set of chromosome has a pair. It has a pair of another 23 set of chromosome, and this pair total counts as 46 chromosome, and so we are called as diploid organism. Like there is a term called haploid. Many organisms have a haploid set of chromosome. Like few bacteria, they don't have a homologous pair. Okay, there is a single set of chromosome itself. But since we are diploid, so we are having a homologous pair. We have a similar pair of chromosome. We have a 23 set of pair, and that 23 set of pair have a homologous corresponding pair. Like see, like in a cell, this chart is called as a karyotype. Okay, what is a karyotype? Artificially arranging of chromosome in a chart. Okay, so what happens is, in this karyotype we have 23 set of chromosomes, and this 23 set of chromosome has a homologous pair. See, let's consider this first pair of first chromosome. Okay, this chromosome has a exactly same replica of itself. It has a same exactly replica of itself. Like the chromosome height, the chromosome features are exactly resembling, will be exactly same as this. Okay, so this is a homologous pair. Like let's consider this 15th pair. This, both the chromosomes are looking alike, okay, so this can be called as a homologous pair. This can be called as a homologous pair. See now, this is the first pair, this is the second pair, this is the third, this is the fourth pair. Okay, and this way total 23 pairs are there, and in total 46 chromosomes are there. Now again, we have total 23 pair of chromosomes. First 22 chromosomes are controls the general body features, like the height, the skin color, the way we talk, the way our intellect is. Okay, these things are controlled by the first 23 pair of chromosomes. The last pair, that is the 23rd pair, controls the sex of a child. Okay, whether the child will be a female or a male, that will be determined by the last pair of chromosome, that is the 23rd pair of chromosome. So first 22 pairs are called as autosomes, and the last pair is known as sex chromosome. So first 22 pairs controls our general body features, like the way we talk, what is our skin color, what is our height, what is our hair color. Okay, and the 23rd pair controls our sex. Okay, sex of a child, whether the child will be male or a female, that will be controlled by 23rd pair. So let's write it. Okay, let's write it here. Autosomes. Okay, before starting with this, first 22 pairs are called as autosomes. Okay, and the last pair is known as sex chromosomes, or we can call it as allosomes. The first 22 pairs, the autosomes, first 22 pairs. What does it control? It controls the general body features. The last pair is known as sex chromosome. The last pair, that is the 23rd pair. The 23rd pair what does it control? It controls the sex of a child. Okay, whether the child will be male or female. So it controls the sex or gender of an individual. Correct? This sex chromosome is also known as allosome. The sex chromosome is also known as allosome. Let me write it with another color. Okay. This sex chromosome is also known as allosomes. Allosomes. So let's revise. We have a set of 23 chromosomes. This 23 chromosomes has a homologous pair. So both the concluding that we get 46 chromosomes in total in our cell. In each cell of our body, it has a 46 chromosome. Okay. Now first 22 pairs are known as autosomes. These control the general body features of our the hair color, the height, the way we talk. These are the general features. Okay. The 23rd pair, which is known as sex chromosome. Why it is called as sex chromosome? Because it controls the sex of an individual, whether the individual will be a male or a female. This will be controlled by the 23rd pair. This 23rd pair is called as sex chromosome. It is also known as allosomes. Next, alleles. Okay, see, we have a pair of chromosome. We don't have a single set of chromosome. So during sexual reproduction, ovum and sperm get fertilized. Okay. There is a process called meiosis. There is a process called meiosis. In the meiosis division, only one set of chromosome gets passed to the offspring. Like the mother and the father are diploid organisms, but ovum only has a set of chromosome. Like the 46 chromosomes from mother to the child will be not transferred. Only the 23 set, only the first 23 set will be passed down to the offspring. Similar with the father will also pass his 23 set of chromosomes to the offspring or the child. So what happens is, why this is necessary, why this meiosis is necessary? Because in meiosis a single set of chromosomes stays. During sexual reproduction, both the ovum and the sperm gets fertilized. So only one set is transferred, so that one set from mother and one set from father can come into the organism, to the child, and then he can maintain that diploidy. Okay, so that he can maintain that diploidy. If all the 46 chromosomes from the mother and all the 46 chromosomes from the father, if it would have transferred to the child, then what would happen is the child would get tetraploid. Okay, 46 plus 46. Okay, but this cannot be done. This cannot exist. So what happens is, only one set of chromosome, only the 23 chromosomes comes down to the child, and from father the 23 set of chromosome comes down to the child, and both that 23 and 23 concludes as 46 chromosome, and it's essential because we are diploid organisms. Okay. Now what is allele? I wanted to explain this because what is allele can be derived from this concept itself. So what is allele is, we have a pair of chromosome. This is first pair. This has a homologous pair. See, alleles are what? Like here it is a gene. It is having a gene. In this chromosome it is having a gene. So this gene is controlling the character of height. This gene is controlling the character of height. So might be this gene is controlling tallness. Okay, this gene is expressing as a tallness character, and this gene is expressing the shortness. See, but the character, what is it controlling? The height itself. It is not like that this chromosome is controlling the height and this chromosome is controlling the skin color. These both the pair, and at the same location they are controlling a single trait or a character, that is height. The difference is that this is expressing the tallness and this is expressing the shortness. Alleles is what? A pair of genes. This is a pair of genes in the homologous chromosome that occupy a specific location. They are occupying a specific location. This cannot be ever that this gene is controlling height and here the corresponding gene of this chromosome is controlling the skin color. It can be never be like that. Okay, the same character will be governed with by both the genes. In this pair which is controlling a single character or a trait, this pair is only known as allele. Okay, this pair is only known as a allele. So let's read this. Alleles are the pair of genes that occupy a specific location on a particular chromosome and control the same trait, like it is controlling the trait of height. Okay, it is controlling the character of height. It is not like that this chromosome is this chromosome and this gene is controlling height and this gene is controlling the skin color. It can be never like that. Okay, the same trait, the same trait will be controlled by both the genes. Another thing, let's consider here another gene. Let's take another gene. These genes or these pairs are known as alleles. Okay, the pair of genes which are controlling the same characters are only known as alleles and which occupy the same position in the chromosome. Like, let's consider this is controlling the character of skin color. Let's consider that this is controlling the character of skin color. This allele is expressing the white skin. Okay, this gene is expressing the character of white skin, and this corresponding gene or the paired gene is controlling the character of dark skin. Okay, let's consider dark skin. Okay, and we are writing dark skin as small w and white skin as capital W. So this pair is controlling the same character. Okay, the same what is the character? The skin color is the character, and they are controlling the same character. Okay, so this is allele. This is only allele. Okay. Another thing, before going into the concept of phenotype and genotype, let me explain. There are two kinds of traits. Achha, what is trait? Trait is nothing but characters. Height is a trait, skin color is a trait, then hair color is a trait, the way we speak is a trait. Is a different forms of characters. Different forms of characters is a trait. Okay. So there are two kinds of traits. First is dominant trait and the another is recessive trait. What is a dominant trait? See, the word dominant means to rule over. Okay, it is ruling the genetic background in our body. What happens is there are two kinds of trait. First is dominant trait and the second is recessive. What happens is we have a pair of chromosome. We are diploid organisms, so we have a pair of chromosome. Okay, so let's consider a pair of allele like what I have explained here, like the height, tallness. Okay, maybe this gene is expressing the character of tallness, and this gene is expressing the character of shortness. Okay, what happens before going into this, the dominant trait, when we represent a dominant trait, we write it with a capital letter. Okay, like we are considering a tall height, then we will be writing capital T, and for short, small t. Okay, so recessive traits which are not expressed, like this is a dominant trait. Dominance means to rule over. If someone is having this kind of pair with capital T, his height will be tall. Okay, because it is putting its dominance over that genetic constitution. Okay, and the corresponding chromosome, this opposite gene will be suppressed. Okay, this gene will suppress its expressions. Okay, so the individual will have this gene, but in his outer appearance, he will be not short. Okay, he will be tall. So before continuing with phenotype and genotype, let's see the trait first. Okay, traits Traits are characteristics or attributes of an organism. Characteristics or attributes, like characters like height, skin color, hair color, these all are characters, okay, are attributes of organisms that expressed by genes. The characters like the height, the skin color are these all are expressed by what? Genes. Genes are controlling all these characters. Like someone is, if someone is tall and fair skin, that characters is controlled by gene. Gene is what? The hereditary material in our cell or in our body. Those genes are only controlling the outer appearance of an organism or the characters of an individual. That are what we have read is expressed by genes and or influenced by the environment. Sometimes when we in the next lecture we will try to do a short summary of mutation. In that lecture I will be explaining what is mutation and how environment even controls our genes, okay. Another trait includes physical attributes of an organism such as hair color, leaf shape, size, okay. So trait is what? The outer appearance of or the outer characteristics of an organism. Like in plants, if we consider the leaf of a shape, the shape of a leaf, okay, how the leaf is oriented, is it curled or is it small or it has a large surface area, these all are characters of a plant or a particularly of a leaf. Then hair color, size, these all are what? These are outer characteristics, and these outer characters are only known as traits. Okay. Trait is of two kinds: dominant trait and recessive trait. Dominant trait, the word dominant means, as I have said, it rules over the genetic constitution, okay. What does it do? It suppresses, okay, it suppresses the recessive genes, okay. What does it mean? That only the characters of dominant genes, only the characters of dominant trait will be expressed in an individual. If, let's consider, if an individual has a gene of tallness and a gene of shortness, okay, but the tallness is getting dominant there, he will be having that shortness in gene, but from if we observe him from the outside, he will be tall in structure, okay. So what happens is that dominant trait is controlling his outer appearance. So dominant trait, the trait which gets expressed in an individual, okay, in an individual. Recessive trait, the trait which is not expressed, which does not get expressed, or it is suppressed by the dominant trait. The trait which gets suppressed, or does not gets expressed. Another thing, as I have told, dominant trait is represented by capital letters, recessive traits is represented by small letters. So like if we consider the trait of height, okay, the trait of height, then for tallness we will okay, let's write first. It is, this is first point, this is the second point, it is represented by a capital letter. It is represented by a small letter, okay. For example, for height, tallness is the dominant, and for height, shortness will be the recessive, and this will not get expressed in an individual. again I'm explaining this thing. See a pair of chromosome. Okay, let's consider in a chromosome there are different genes. This pair, this allele is controlling the height. So let's consider tall and short. Then this skin color, small skin color. Let's write with this. Let's write this way. For skin color, white, and for this the recessive gene will be black. For hair color, let's consider black. Okay, black is the dominant gene and brown is the recessive gene. Okay, then here the way we speak, like someone is stammering. Okay, so let's take a stammering for capital S for stammering, a small s for normal speech. Now tell me, in an individual, what will get expressed? What will be the observable features in that individual? See, tallness is dominant here. Tallness is getting dominant here, so it will be dominating the genetic constitution. Okay, though the gene of shortness is even present, but it is becoming recessive, or it is getting suppressed by the dominant trait. Now, for the next thing, let's see. We are taking white skin as the dominant trait, black hair as a dominant trait, and stammered speech as the dominant trait. So a person will be having, if person has this genetic constitution, a person from the outside, we will observe he will be tall, he will be white skinned, he will be having a black hair he will be having a black hair, and his speech, he will be possessing a stammered speech style. Okay, these shortness, black skin, then brownish hair, and this normal speech will get suppressed. Okay, though he will be having that genetic constitution inside his cell, but these characters, these traits will be not influencing his outer characters of an organism. Okay, from outside the person will when I will be looking at the person will be tall, he will be white skinned, he will be stammering. Okay, because these traits are getting dominant. Okay, though he is having a genetic constitution of recessive genes, but these are not getting expressed. Okay, next. Now, before advancing, what is phenotype and genotype? We will be connecting genotype and phenotype with this concept only. Phenotype is what? Phenotype is all the observable characters in an organism. Okay, like we are seeing someone from outside. If the person is tall, if the person is white skinned, okay, we cannot say that he is only having a gene of tallness. He might be having a gene of shortness as well, but it did not get expressed in that person. Okay, the next, if we see if we say that someone is fair skin, okay, someone is fair skin, we cannot say that he has a genetic constitution only of fair skin. He might be having genetic constitution of black skin even, but it got suppressed, and the expressed gene, what we called as a dominant trait, it is getting reflected in his physical appearance. Okay, so phenotype is what? Phenotype is all the observable characters in an organism. Okay, and genotype is what? The genetic constitution in our body. Like consider if I have a like I am short. Okay, but I cannot assure that I only have a gene of shortness. Okay, I do have a gene of tallness as well, but it did not get expressed in me. Okay. So phenotype is what? Let's see here. Phenotype is what? All the observable characteristics in an individual all the observable, like what we are observing from the outside. Okay, what things, what characters are reflected in his outer appearance. Okay, that is phenotype. All the observable characteristics in an individual is called as phenotype. Is called as phenotype. Say now the dominant traits. The dominant traits are giving a putting that reflection. Okay, this phenotype is just because of the effect of a dominant trait which got expressed. For genotype, the genetic constitution in an individual okay, like one can have a gene of shortness, even of tallness. The trait which will get expressed or get dominant, that will be controlling his outer appearance. The genotype is what? All the genetic constitution, like one is having a recessive gene or a dominant gene, that is the genetic constitution. Next, this includes, like here it will phenotype can be phenotype is a function of dominant trait only. Okay, but here this includes both the dominant and the recessive trait as. Okay, I hope this chapter had provided you with a better clarity to understand what is genes, what is a DNA. Okay, so we have come to the end of the lecture. If you have any kind of doubt, you can go to our comment section and drop your doubt there. Another thing, 10 CBSE students, I would really suggest 10 CBSE students to refer to this video to get a very good clarity of this chapter hereditary. After watching this video, you can understand what is a Mendel law, the main Mendel law, what is a dominant trait, what is a recessive gene. Okay, so everything will be get clarified only after seeing this video. 10th ICSE students can also refer to this video to get a fundamental understanding of hereditary. If you like this video, do like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to hit the bell icon. Thank you.